This is a review of the Porter Cable Sander Restorer. I bought this machine or tool specifically for restoring my welding table and getting it cleaned back up. Now, before I got started here, I was just doing some test runs, and you'll notice some little hops and skips. Those hops and skips were caused from the sanding drum, not the wire wheel. And I'm just reviewing the wire wheel. So I had to work a little bit to get those skips out. My mistake. Now, in doing the table, I used a long piece of aluminum and I made straight lines with the wire wheel. But in this right here, you'll see I'm just trying to cover up those little skips, hops and skips. The sound of the tool is acceptable, not too loud. And if you plan on doing any rust removal, which it works great at, make sure you put the vacuum attachment on there. Boy, that'll cause you to cough quick. Now here I'm just simply going back and forth in different directions to see if I can get the little hops and skips out, and it does a pretty good job. I sure wished I hadn't used the sanding drum just to play around with it, but it does clean up quite nice. And my next step here is to do a quick surface work on my vise, and it cleans it up pretty nice. I actually had two vices on the table, and behind the scenes I got a pretty good gloss on the second one, but I didn't show it. Now on this one I've got a lot of rust. I've owned this vise for probably about 30 years, and it takes the surface rust right off, leaves it pretty shiny. I was quite impressed with it. And you'll notice here in just a second the built up rust that's on the shaft of the vise. It comes off and leaves a very good finish. I was pleasantly satisfied. Did a little bit of work on the jaws next, and it cleaned up real nice. I noticed right off that when I was doing the sanding or the wire brushing that I wasn't getting the wire brush where I wanted it. The brush is obviously a little narrower than the extensive tool, but it doesn't take long to get into it and figure it out. On the end of the table here, I wanted to show just how quick it takes it down. And this is a pickled table. The table itself comes with very little scale on it, so it comes right off. And my goal was to get a real good contact with the table. while I'm doing welding. And it cleaned up real nice, and removed the old oil and used some acetone on it. And after this was completed, I was pretty surprised. And you'll see some black areas, but all that stuff comes up and leaves a real nice wire brushed pattern. I didn't want to get swirls using the drill and a wire wheel, so I use this, and it actually goes fairly quick when you're using a 3-inch wide brush, and it's very easy to use. It's not something that gets away from you when you pull the trigger. And being variable speed, you can really dial it in the way you like it and put as much pressure as you want down on it. And there's the table. Again, I used aluminum, and I ran in straight lines, so you'll see the pattern, and a little bit of light reflection coming off of there. Really satisfied with the tool, and I gotta thank Porter Cable and the actual guy that did all the investment in getting this thing ready. There is my next project. I'm making a kayak caddy for the campgrounds. I can get down to launch my boat through some nasty stuff and actually kayak and get it back out of there fairly easy.